All right, here's how we want to import and export our photos in and out of Lightroom. Let's go. First up, you need to know where your photos are. They could be in one of two places. You could be getting your photos off of a memory card, or you could be getting your photos off of Google Drive. Either way, we want to grab our photos and we want to place them into our documents folder within Finder. So real quick, if I had my cam, this is Finder. Go ahead and open up Finder, and you want to essentially put your photos in the documents folder before bringing them into Lightroom. Real quick, I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to double click on this slowly. So you do one click, another click, and this was how you can rename your folder. I'm going to rename it Utah Pics. Bam. Double click in here. This is where I want to put my raw files. What you can do is you can download from Google Drive your photos and they'll show up in your downloads folder. And then you just want to like click and drag all these photos into your documents. What we can do is right click, open a new tab, and then we can click and drag this tab out here. That way we have like an easy source and destination. So for the source one, I'm actually going to go to my memory card. It's untitled, dive into DCIM, and I know my pictures are on this one right here. Yep, there's Utah, baby. Hit Command A to select everything within here if you want to select all the photos within this memory card or your Google Drive folder that you just downloaded. So I'm gonna hit Command A, selected everything, and now I want to find the destination over here. We got Utah Pics, and then just essentially click and drag and drop and let them download all into your documents folder. That way, whenever you remove your memory card or say the internet goes down, which it usually does at our school, you still have Lightroom referencing these pictures from your documents folder. So they transferred in documents. Now essentially, you can eject your memory card or close down Google Drive because now we have them in our documents folder. So next thing would be to bring these photos into Lightroom Classic. So I open this up here. On the left side, you have our navigator. So I'm gonna hit import, and you're going to get this new view. So yes, on the left side, you have your source, and then on your right side, you have your catalog. So let's go ahead and find where these things are at. Of course, we said it was in the documents folder. You go down, I have a whole bunch of pictures from last year in documents. We want to go to Utah Pics, and these are the photos I want to bring over. They're all selected. If they're not selected, you can click this right here, select all photos, and then on the right side you want to hit import into our catalog. So hit import here, and now they are bringing them into our catalog. You have this view down here. These are all your pictures. If you double click on one of them, it'll make it a little bit bigger, and you can go right on your arrow keys on your keyboard to kind of like toggle through all the pictures. So in this scenario, I just brought in 86 photos into my catalog. There's no way I want to edit 86 photos. A lot of these are like duplicates with different settings and different poses. Look at me there, hanging with the boys. I just want to get the best and maybe narrow it down from 86 to like 10. So what we can do is we can do a rating system to kind of go through these 86 photos and like pick which ones are our favorites. A good way to do that is I like to do different passes on all of these photos. So I'll bring this filters off and I'll put it on rated. Right now it's showing all the pictures that are rated 1 star, and I haven't rated any stars just yet. So I'm gonna unselect rated on this 1 star. And so all these pictures that I just brought in are rated at 0 stars. For my first pass, I kind of want to go through all of these. And if there's a photo that I like, I want to give it a 1 star rating. And you can do that with just the 1 on your keypad. So just hit 1 every time you see a photo that you like. These are a little bit blurry. However, I like the hair in this one, so I'll hit 1 there. These are a little overexposed, so I don't want any of these. This is when we're starting to get there, so I'll hit 1 on this. This was a kind of nice one. I'll hit 1 there. We're getting a little closer. Let's hit 1 on here. Springdale, we're entering, so we'll hit 1, even though it's a little overexposed. We'll hit 1 on this and 1 on this. And then I definitely want a couple more over here on the end of the crew. Bam. We are happy to be there. Look at us just pointing at the moon. Awesome. So I have rated all my pictures with 1 star. So now I want to get rid of the rest. So I'm going to go ahead and hit 1 star here. And look at that. We went from 86 photos to now 9, which is a lot more manageable. You could definitely do a second pass on this. Say, I don't really want this photo. So we're going to leave it at 1. I do want this photo. So I'm going to hit 2 and set this rating to 2. I'm going to hit this one, set this rating to 2, and then we'll set this rating to 2. And now I can filter out my 2 stars. And now I have 3 pictures that I want to edit and then export. We'll edit these later. Right now, I'll just show you how to export these real quick. Honestly, pretend like we went from our library to our develop mode, and just for the sake of editing, we're just gonna make them black and white, black and white, black and white. And so now I want to export these black and white images. I'm going to select my first photo. I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to select my last photo to select all 3 of these. Right click and we want to export and then hit export again right here. And here we have our export location and our file naming system. We want to keep our stuff organized. So we want to put our edits in the same place as our raw files, just so that they all live in the same folder. So in the documents folder, you can change it to documents and you can actually do specific folder, and then you can choose the location. And so right now it's taken me to this Redbud edits, which is a totally different project. I don't want that at all. So let's go find the folder that we set up already. We go to documents and we got Utah pics. So we can double click in here. And then in here, I want to make a new folder and call it Utah edits. Utah edits. Boom. Create. And this is where I want my edits to live. So we can just hit choose. So we don't want to put it in the subfolder because we just made the subfolder. We made it Utah edits. But we do want to rename our files because right now they're named this DSC09917. That doesn't help anybody. So let's change. We want to make sure it's on custom name sequence because then we can give it a custom name and then it'll start numbering off depending on what number you set here. So it'll be Utah edit 1, and then because there's 3 photos, you'll have 2 and then you'll have 3. Once you set your export location and your file name, you can hit export and you'll see up here it'll export 3 files in this top left corner, and we're just waiting for that to finish up. I'm gonna hit Finder, and we can actually go over here in our Finder, in our documents, in our Utah pics, in our Utah edits, and here they are. They are exporting right now. Boom. And look at that. Utah edit 1, if you hit space, you can preview. Make that a little smaller. Go down with your arrow keys, and there we have our 3 Utah pics. Pretty sick. Now you can send these off to a Google Drive folder so that they live in the cloud, or you can put them on your hard drive or do whatever you want with them. And that is how you import and export your photos in Lightroom.